हरे हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Madam.
Rama. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare mantra complete हो गया.
Hare Hare.
Very nice. ठीक है? Is the time we start now? ठीक है?
Yeah.
Other people will join in. As usual, they are latecomers. You know, in temple also, Prashant knows we have program. By dinner, people reach. So here also, they will reach late. Chalo. So we did 11 shlokas last time. We start with the 12th shloka. We are in the 8th chapter. And last shloka, if you wanted to see, this still person learned in the Vedas utter Omkara and our great sages renounce order, entering into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. And I shall now explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. The yogic situation is that of detachment from sensual engagement, closing all doors of senses, and fixing the mind on the heart and the life here at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Who will rule? Anirudh, you will read?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
To practice yoga, as suggested here, one first has to close the door of all sense enjoyment. This practice is called pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. Sense organs for acquiring knowledge such as the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and touch should be fully controlled and should not be allowed to engage in self-gratification. In this way, the mind focuses on the supersoul in the heart and the life force is raised to the top of the head. In the 6th chapter, this process is described in detail. But as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. The best process is Krishna consciousness. If one is always able to fix his mind on Krishna in devotional service, it is very easy for him to remain in an undisturbed transcendental trance or in samadhi.
Yeah. Now this is interesting in the sense that this is how the generally people do Ashtanga yoga or Gyanis. They sit down in a forest and they withdraw themselves from all outside engagements, and their senses are searching for sense objects outside. And actually, generally, the Prabhupada says it's not practical. You know, there was many time, if you go to Vrindavan, there are some people who do Babaji. You have seen them? They just try to sit down and hold, they try to chant and read. But Prabhupada never recommended, in fact. And one of his disciple insisted, Prabhupada said, if you don't give me Babaji initiation, I'll go to some Vrindavan Babaji and take. Prabhupada said, okay, I give you Babaji Diksha. And within few days he ran away. It's not practical for us, actually, try to imitate. And the Prabhupada is saying that Acharya, as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. Correct? We just sit down in a solitary forest alone. Our eyes are sensing for sense object, withdraw them. Ears are searching for the nice music, film music, withdraw them. Tongue is searching for the nice thing to taste, withdraw them. Correct? So like that you're trying to control the senses. But this is not the way. What the proper says? Krishna consciousness. The mind on Krishna in devotion service is very easy for him to remain in undisturbed transcendental trance or in samadhi. That is the way. And how do you come to this way? By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll reach this. Oh. Okay. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination letters, if one thinks, sure. If one thinks of Supreme Personality God and quits his body, he will certainly reach the supreme spiritual planets. Anirudh, you can continue.
It is clearly stated here that Om, Brahman, and Lord Krishna are not different. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. It is clearly recommended in this age that if one quits this body and at the end of this life, chanting the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, he will reach the spiritual planets. Similarly, those who are devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet or Golaka Vrindavana, whereas impersonalists remain in the Brahma Jyoti. The personalists who enter many innumerable planets in the spiritual sky are known as Vaikunthas.
So this is very interesting. Hare Krishna mantra, Prabhupada says, contains Om. You know, it looks exciting. When we see somebody, chanting this Om, actually, Ashtanga Yoga looks very attractive. Just like you go to a medical shop, there may be a lot of bottles which look very attractive. But it doesn't mean you're going to have them, correct? You say, oh, that bottle you give me, that looks so fantastic. It doesn't mean, that is not the way. The same way, interesting thing is that the Hare Krishna mantra, which is a simple process, includes Om. Okay? In fact, I have heard that people even train how to chant Om for a lot of days. Hare Krishna mantra doesn't need anything. You can just chant attentively and Krishna will take note. So Hare Krishna mantra, actually Om also refers to the personal aspect of the Lord, if you go strictly speaking. But generally it is used by impersonalists and they are meditating on the impersonal feature of the Lord. So Hare Krishna mantra is the, the mantra which directly refers to the Krishna with internal energy. It includes any other representation of the Lord. The word Krishna includes all other names of Krishna. Within Krishna is all other expansions of Krishna. Similarly, within the name of Krishna, all other reference to Krishna is included. Okay? When Krishna incarnated in this world, or when Krishna descended to this world, all the expansions of Krishna joined him. In the same way, when you utter the name Krishna, it includes any other. Keshava, is there any other way we can explain this? Why Prabhupada says sound Hare Krishna contains Om? Okay. So anyway, we are not missing anything. When you chant Hare Krishna mantra, don't worry. As Prabhupada is saying, your Om is included within it. Okay? And we chanting Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah.
Yeah, we are we are also chanting Om in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That way we are also chanting, but you know we don't practice. You know, you've seen that monists just
Yeah.
sit for hours and oh, and people like that. It's very attractive actually. This, but the fact is we have to follow. Actually, Hare Krishna mantra chanting kirtan is even more attractive. How pleasing it is when people participate. You know, and this is you cannot have Om Kirtan, you know. There was once what
Yeah.
happened that in India there was a big conference and the devotees had come. So Prabhupada also participated. He was requested to come. Prabhupada and his disciples. And when people were really getting bored and they're sleeping because all the Gyanis were up to, you know, they're all speculations and they're grammatical and this is Jagari or Sanskrit and people are, you know, really scratching their head, very bored. Lord, huge audience was there. Then Prabhupada was asked to speak. Prabhupada told disciples, first start Kirtan. They started Kirtan. It's there very nicely explained, Lilamrita. Whole audience started jumping and dancing. They were like going to fresh life. Actually, comparatively, the Krishna conscious process is so relishing. And then Prabhupada gave a class and again had a big Kirtan. So now the next Swami whose turn was there, he also thought, you know, simply bhashan will not work. So on the spot, he created some mantra. Om Tat Sat, something he created. But it was not working out at all. So Hare Krishna mantra includes Om. We do chant Om, certain time we chant Om. Any other time we chant Om, Keshava? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Anirudh, any other time we chant? Gayatri Mantra, yes. Gayatri Mantra also Om is there, yes. And then Ishopanishad, Om Tad Vishnu. Any other? Some of the shlokas Prabhupada quotes that have Om. Correct. Yes. So we are also chanting in that way. Yeah. So Prabhupada's guarantee is there here. Hold on to this because we have a delicate arrangement. I have been meditating on this. You know, if you look at the heart, open the skin, how it looks. It look like a gland, you know, a red color gland. Anytime it will stop. Anytime there's a tubes and veins and bags in this body, anything will stop at any time. So hold on to this Acharya's instruction. You should have realized faith. Theory will not work. Recommended Prabhupada is saying if you quit this body at the life chanting the Mahamantra at that time, it's a sadhana. You have to loudly utter Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if you think some people, if you read the shloka, then you think, okay, at that time I will chant Om and leave the body. You will go to Brahmajyoti if you are not properly meditated on the personal form of Krishna. But this Hare Krishna mantra is directly reference to the personal presence of the Lord, and it will take you to Krishna's lotus feet. He will reach the supreme planets. So actually, it is we do not know what gain it will be, how much gain it will be when you go to Krishna's lotus feet. What a gain it will be. Okay, so we should therefore practice, understand the dangers in this world, and in the dangerous condition when you are leaving the body in acute pain, the realized faith will help us to long for Krishna's lotus feet and leave the body. Similarly, those who are devoted to Krishna enter the Krishna planet, so impersonally remain in Brahmajyoti. Okay, let us see. This chapter deals with how to leave the body. Oh, this is a beautiful shloka. For one who remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotion service. Keshava, you will try to read.
In this verse, Bhakti Yoga of the unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Godhead is described. The preceding verses mention 4 different kinds of devotees: the distressed, the inquisitive, those who seek material gain, and the speculative philosophers. Different processes of liberation from material entanglement have also been described: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga. But here Bhakti Yoga, without any mixture of these, is mentioned. In Bhakti Yoga, the devotees desire nothing but Krishna. The pure Bhakti devotee does not desire promotion to heavenly planets, nor does he seek salvation or liberation from material entanglement. A pure devotee does not desire anything. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pure devotee is called Nishkama, which means he has no desire for self-interest. Perfect peace belongs to him alone, not to them who strive for personal gain. The pure devotee only wants to please the Supreme Lord, and so Lord says that for everyone who is unflinchingly devoted to him, he is easy to attain. The devotee can render service to any of the transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord, and he meets with none of the problems that plague the practitioners of other yogas. Bhakti Yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin by simply chanting Hare Krishna. Krishna is very merciful to those who engage in his service, and he helps in various ways that devotee who is fully surrendered to him, so he can understand him as he is. The Lord gives such a devotee sufficient intelligence so that ultimately the devotee can attain him in a spiritual kingdom. The special qualification of the pure devotee is that he is always thinking of Krishna without considering the time or place. There should be no impediments. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and at any time. Some say that the devotee should remain in holy places like Vrindavana or some holy town where the Lord lived. But a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavana by his devotional service. It was Sri Advaita who told Lord Chaitanya, "Wherever you are, O Lord, there is Vrindavana." A pure devotee constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. These are qualifications of the pure devotee for whom the Lord is most easily attainable. Bhakti Yoga is a system that Gita recommends above all others. Generally, the Bhakti Yogis are engaged in 5 different ways. Shanta Bhakta, engaged in devotional service in neutrality. Dasya Bhakta, engaged in devotional service as servant. Sankhya Bhakta, engaged as friend. Vatsalya Bhakta, engaged as parent. And Madhurya Bhakta, engaged as conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord. In any of these ways, the pure devotee is always constantly engaged in transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord and cannot forget the Supreme Lord, and so for him, the Lord is easily attained. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment, and similarly, the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is a great blessing of Krishna conscious process of chanting the Mahamantra Hare Krishna.
So you want the blessing or you don't want the blessing? Just think about it. Imagine the blessing is available. Prabhupada says you can start Krishna consciousness very easily. How do you start? Just by chanting Hare Krishna. Anybody can begin Krishna consciousness just by chanting Hare Krishna. Immediately, as the that is the Prabhupada says, it's a great blessing because you come to such a platform that pure devotee. We really wonder. Prabhupada is saying you will reach this platform. You cannot forget Supreme Lord for a moment, and the Lord cannot forget you for a moment. Just imagine. Lord is a person. Somebody is asking how long it takes to satisfy Krishna. It is all between you and him. He's a person. Maybe in 1 minute you can satisfy him, or it may take millions of years. But it is always between you and the Lord. And a bird has to fly by its own strength. You have to convince Krishna. Krishna is sincerely want to have a relationship with you. And sincerely, what is the relationship? I'm your servant. So, and the service to the Lord can manifest in different ways. Bhakti Yogi the service can manifest in different ways. So this is so unique. Prabhupada is saying the great blessing. So we should not miss. Somehow we got human form of life, and then somehow in the human form of life, Prabhupada says the once, who knew I'll come to America? Who knew that you all will come to, help me in this mission? So Prabhupada, anyway, and then he said these are all transcendental arrangements. The same way it's all transcendental arrangements. Some of a good fortune we have come to the shelter of Lord Chaitanya, shelter of Srila Prabhupada. And here Prabhupada is pointing out as an Acharya that great blessing awaits if you take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And what is the blessing? You cannot forget Krishna for a moment, and Krishna cannot forget you for a moment. Imagine, and we don't take advantage. It's real. There can be no, because it is said we have an opportunity, and for billions of births, we may not get this opportunity again if we just throw it away. Okay, so we can begin very easily and end also by chanting Hare Krishna. So anything else? Prabhupada says the perfect peace only belongs to him, only for a devotee. You know that the famous shloka? Krishna Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta. Who knows this shloka? Anybody knows this shloka? Aryan. Okay, no, Aryan is not there. Anirudh, you know this shloka? Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta.
No.
You don't know. Keshava knows. Keshava, you can explain this shloka?
It is from Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Hey, Keshava, your voice is little less today. You have to speak loudly.
It's Chaitanya Charitamrita shloka. No?
Yeah.
It says that all others are here also it is said like only pure devotional service to the Lord. Only that can bring peace. Because there is no self-interest. In all other cases there is some self-interest. Only in bhakti there is no self-interest. The only interest is to please the Lord. So peace is attained.
Correct. What are these people? Bhukti means he wants some sense enjoyment in the approaches. They're the karmis. Prabhupada say they're animals. We are all Prabhupada, they're immediately rejected. Those who want sense gratification, Prabhupada said they're animals. He doesn't even consider them as, spiritualists. Then he talks bhukti, mukti, those who want mukti, who want liberation from this world. They are also selfish because they want something again. They want to merge into God. And yogis, they want some power, siddhi kami. He says sakale ashanta because they're always selfish and they want something. But Krishna devotees are nishkama and only they are. Sorry, somebody has to be invited. They have a nice trick. They will give a call, so we have to stop. It will be ringing everywhere. Okay. So that's a perfect peace only belongs to a devotee. But many times people approach Swamiji, you are also selfish because you also want liberation. No, sir, we don't want anything. Prabhupada says devotee doesn't want anything. He just wants some opportunity to serve Krishna. He doesn't want liberation. He doesn't want to go to Vaikuntha. He doesn't want anything. Actually, the pure devotee, he is not selfish at all. Okay. Any questions on this? Anybody has to clarify? This is a very important shloka. Proceed. After attaining me, the great souls or yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. And Vijaya Mataji, you like to read this?
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Since this temporary material world is full of the miseries of birth, old age, disease and death, naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavana, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as beyond our material vision, and it is considered the highest goal. The Mahatmas, great souls, receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service and Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna's association and nothing else. Such great souls in Krishna consciousness attain the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls.
Yeah, so sweet.
Prabhu, I want to tell you that yesterday I attended the Jagannath Yatra in Chennai. I'm currently posted in Chennai.
Again, you have been transferred.
Yeah, and I went to the ISKCON temple in Chennai. It's very far away from where I am.
Yeah. You should meet there one devotee called Bhanu Maharaj.
Yeah, I was told. Actually, it is an interesting story. I want to tell you that Lord Krishna himself called me. I go for a walk in the mornings and I was chanting while I was walking and I met this couple who stopped me by saying Hare Krishna. This was on day 2 of my being in Chennai and they told me that I think you're a devotee and I want to invite you to the temple. So I went to the temple, and that was the previous Saturday. And then I continued my normal life. Again, 3 days ago, I met the same couple, and they told me that there is Jagannath Yatra, so would you like to come? And this happened yesterday. It was as if Lord Krishna himself called me on both occasions to visit.
So nice. And the Rath Yatra was nice, beautiful.
Very nice, very nice.
Keshava, we went no Rath Yatra, which was the same time last year.
It was not in June, July.
They are doing how many Rath Yatras in a year?
In our calendar.
We just went, Mataji. We went. I think in a city, they have another center. I think this is the second Rath Yatra. Anna?
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. I really wonder
I
how many Rath Yatras they are doing. But anyway, it's nice, Mataji. So happy to see you went for Rath Yatra. Chalo. Okay, when you go to the temple, it's far from the city, but you meet one devotee is there. He has been a Prabhupada disciple from Japan for many years. His name is Bhanu Maharaj.
Yeah, she told me actually about him. But he's gone to Japan is what she told me.
Oh, he is not around here. Okay.
Yeah.
The Mahatma's great soul. So anyway, he received transcendental message from the realized devotees. Okay? It's a very important point this. From realized devotee, you can give something when you have. You can't give when you don't have. So the great souls who are taking shelter of Krishna, they get transcendental message from the realized devotee. So therefore, that's where the element of discrimination does come. We are not blind. At the same time, we are not fault finding. Discrimination means I'm looking for association of a pure devotee and the realized devotee. They have. Just like you're reading Prabhupada books now. Prabhupada says these purports are my transcendental ecstasies. Once they asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what will happen to you the moment when you will die? Prabhupada said, I will never die. And devotees were shocked. Because every word Prabhupada is to shock them like anything. So how is he saying that? No, I will live in my books and you shall utilize. So see, we are taking advantage even though these books are there. So Mahatma, you get transcendental message from a pure devotee. We are getting so much advantage reading this Prabhupada purports now. And gradually develop devotion. Therefore, at least I request in a day, keep 1 hour to read these books. Otherwise, you don't lock into, 5-10 minutes, you don't come into the proper mood because our anartha, mind is distracted. As you sit, you are hearing, slowly you enter into the mood of this purports. Your heart starts feeling, this vibration of pure devotion. They only want Krishna's association and nothing else. This is the greatest desire to have in the heart. A pure devotee, when he leaves the body, only desires Krishna's association. Somehow I can get Krishna's association, I can get some service to Krishna, because service to Krishna is equivalent to Krishna's association. Such great souls in Krishna consciousness attain. And Prabhupada says, in the end, he doesn't leave it there. They are supreme souls. He doesn't leave it. They are supreme souls. Like one more superlative. So actually, yogi never return to the temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they attain the highest perfection. So no devotee tries to return. Actually, in our stage now, we plan to go back to Krishna's lotus feet. At a very, very advanced suggestion we are discussing, it hardly matters. Whole Vishwa Purna Sakaya, the whole world becomes Vaikuntha. From the highest planet in the metal world down to the lowest, all are places of misery where repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode of Sunakunti never takes birth again. Neela, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, I will read.
Yeah.
All kinds of a yogis karma, yagna. Sorry, that's I'm sorry. That's what's that one?
Hatha.
Hatha, etc. Eventually have to attain devotional perfection in Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness before they can go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. Those who attain the highest material planets or the planets of the demigods are again subjected to repeated birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people in higher planets such as Brahmaloka, Chandraloka, and Indraloka fall down to earth. The practice of sacrifice called Panchagni Vidya, recommended in the Katha Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahmaloka, but if In Brahmaloka, one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness in the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the end of the universal devastation are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. When there is devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees, who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desires.
So generally, if you don't take the direct path of practicing Krishna consciousness and you go to the Devatas, Prabhupada is saying there is a Pancha Agni Vidya. I tried to search in the Vedas, Veda-based, Prabhupada is referred to only once. Pancha Agni, fire, the Pancha means fire, Agni means some kind of sacrifice with the fire, fire. Keshav, you know about this? What is this Pancha Agni Vidya? Do you know this Vidya?
There are 5 kinds.
Keshav, your voice is very less today. I don't know. Others are able to hear it clearly?
There are 5 kinds of fire sacrifices too.
Okay.
That are a person is supposed to continue to do it throughout his lifetime.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay, and you get Brahmaloka if you do that?
Yes, supposedly.
No, it will be, our Brahma is Haridas Thakur. It's not bad, you reach there, it's not bad. But Prabhupada is saying here, but Brahma has actually a good opportunity. Every day he says he's Krishna, and Prabhupada says Brahma gets, this administrative post, and he's serving Krishna in his administrative post. So generally he goes back to Godhead, but Prabhupada says even Brahmaloka, you are there, and you don't cultivate Krishna consciousness, you have to return to earth. Another time it is said sometimes Brahma also, because his executive post is very big, is equivalent to Krishna, Shiva and Vishnu's. Creation, maintenance, and destruction. He gets a big executive post. Managing director, he's also. So sometimes he starts thinking he's equivalent to Vishnu. And then he has to come back to this world if he gets any anartha like this. So it's a dangerous situation there also. So, but it's better to directly practice Krishna consciousness, go. And the instance of Nalaguvera and Managriva. My voice is loud enough for everybody?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, just checking it. So, Nalakuvera, Managriva, they were in heavenly planets and they became so degraded, they were walking naked here and there, and Narada had to curse them. Correct? You know that? They were naked in the pond with Apsaras and Narada had to curse them. So, don't take any chance. Better to chant Hare Krishna mantra and just desire only one thing, Krishna association, nothing else. Then you go back. Otherwise, it's like it's like a lift and glass. Suppose it's a glass lift. On the way, the lift opens. You see so many heavenly pleasures. If you want, you can come out. So better you stay at the lotus feet of Krishna and straight go back. Don't take any chance. There was something I wanted to say again, which I forgot to mention here. In the previous shloka, you see this line has come. Okay, it has not come here. It will come. Next it will come. I'm looking for some. No. Okay, I'm looking for something. Chalo, let us continue. There was something.
One of the classes regarding for this.
You wanted to say something, Keshava?
I just remembered something. Prabhupada class. One of the classes he says it is not that like the present day people they are trying to go to other planets like to moon and other places. Now recently we reached near Pluto, all those things. So Prabhupada said it's not that they want to go there. They want to go, come back and brag about it. That's what they're.
Yeah.
It's not that they want to go there. They want to go there, come back and say about it.
Yeah, with a big chest, with 32-inch chest. Yeah, somebody asked Prabhupada, when they were so much planning to go to moon, something. So Prabhupada said there's an easy way, you have to worship the Devata of that planet and you can go there. And go means go there. No coming back. Prabhupada said no coming back. And then I don't want. The Prabhupada, they want to go there just to go and come back and tell 100 people I did that. Actually, yes. That's so true. Yeah. There was a line which I saw in the shloka which I am searching because I marked it. This was a wise. There was a line. Yeah, because. It will come. Some line which I noted, which is also there, a line repeated by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. This is a very famous shloka. Kindly try to cram this shloka. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna mamupeta tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Very, very important shloka. So you remember. Okay. This is a very famous shloka now again. Sahasra Yuga Pari. By human calculation, the 1,000 ages together, taken together, duration of Brahma's day, and such also the duration of his night. Who will read the translation now? Preeti's mother, you want to read? Mataji? You have to, Mataji, mic is off. Yeah. Yes.
I read from the this book only, Bhagavad Gita only.
Which is the Macmillan edition? Old Testament, New Testament?
This edition.
Chalo, you read, we will tell you. This is Old Testament.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhu. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in the cycles of kalpas. The kalpas is a day in Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages. Satya, Treta, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yugas last 1728,000, being practically no ignorance and vice. Yes, in the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts for 1,296,000 years. In Dwapara Yuga, there is an even greater decline on virtues and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts for 864,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice, true virtue being practically non-existent, and this yuga lasts for 432,000 years. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga of the Supreme Lord himself appears as Kalki Avatara, vanishes the denoms, saves his devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprise one day of Brahma, the creator God, and same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years, by Earth calculation, total of 311 trillion and 40 million Earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable, but from the viewpoint of eternity, it is brief as a lightning flash. In the casual ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creations are part of the material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma, particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course, Brahma and all inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death according to the law of material nature.
Okay, so it's easy to understand. I think just if somebody doesn't know, 4,32,000 years, you can start with the life of Kali Yuga, and the double of that Dvi is this Dwapara Yuga, 8,64,000 years, and triple of that is Treta Yuga, and 4 times of that is Satya Yuga. This 4x plus 3x plus 2x plus x is 10x. 10 times the duration of Kali Yuga becomes the one set of yugas, that is 4 million years. You can sit and do some calculations, and that is one cycle, 4 million and 32,000 like that. And into, if you go 1,000 cycles of that, that will go 4 billion years is one day of Brahma, and night is another 4 billion, so 8 billion roughly. And if you multiply by 365 into 100, you will get the life of Brahma, and that comes to, if you sit with the calculator, you will see exactly this. 311 trillion and 40 million Earth years. This is the time that it takes, the Brahma's life. But even this is nothing like one bubble, coming and finishing in the eternal sky. Nothing. So, it's nothing big deal. We are so excited about the material world. It is just like monkey. We are jumping from one body to one tree to another. Meaningless life we are leading. So this explanation is very important. What we think is big is no meaning. Even Brahma's life is useless. But Prabhupada is saying at the end, don't think everything is bad. Brahma, however, is directly in the service of Supreme Lord, in the management of the universe. Therefore, he at once attained liberation. His post is very special. He is a very intimate, very confidential post given by Krishna. And whenever he has a problem in managing the world, he goes to Krishna for consultation. When the Brahma's day is manifest, multitude of living entities come into being, and the arrival of Brahma night, they are all annihilated. Yes, who will read now? Next. Anybody?
I can read.
Yeah.
The less intelligent jivas try to remain within this material world and are accordingly elevated and degraded in the various planetary systems. During the daytime of Brahma, they exhibit their activities, and at the coming of the Brahma's night, they are annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies of the material activities, and at night, these bodies perish. The jivas, the individual souls, remain compact in the body of Vishnu, and again are manifested at the arrival of Brahma's day. When Brahma's life is finally finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifested for millions and millions of years. Finally, when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, the jivas are captivated by the material world. However, those intelligent beings who take to Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama in devotional service transfer themselves even in this life to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. Wow.
Just imagine. Prabhupada says, just read this purport, you read this again, just by doing this, and also, correct, following. But Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. You chant Hare Krishna mantra. The first time I saw Prabhupada saying Hare Krishna, Hare Rama movement, generally public says, this is Hare Krishna, Hare Rama movement. So, compact with the body, which is how funny it will look. Just imagine if you were at the Brahma, because time is relative. So Brahma sees his day not like a 4 billion years. He sees like we see our day, 12 hours. There was a famous instance in Krishna Leela, where one king was there and he was searching for a good husband for his daughter. What is the name of the king? Anybody knows? And he goes to Brahma to consult who the best for, what do you suggest the best king. So Brahma was busy, he was having some, some event going on, so he was busy. So when event got over, he met Brahma. I said, Brahma, whom do you think my daughter can marry? This person is there. He had a list for the best people on earth. Brahma said, what those people? 1,000 generations are over after that. Because time is ready. You're in another place now. I think in the science, the concept is that time is ready, but they don't know reality how it moves. So Brahma said thousands of the generations are over. So he said, now go to earth. Balaram and Krishna Balaram have descended. Your wife can marry Balaram. Revati. Correct? Who was the king? Anybody knows the king? Nobody knows, huh? We have to search in Krishna book. Okay, so that's how time is relative. So Brahma is, so Brahma, if he looks at us, how it will look, we are jumping from one body to another body. We grow old, we die. Another body to grow old and die. Meaninglessly suffering, old age, death, meaninglessly for some looking for some, silly enjoyment. How foolish you will look if Brahma, suppose your life I record in a movie and just roll it fast. It looks so funny. Whole life doing sleeping, again eating, again sleeping, again eating, doing nothing actually whole day, meaninglessly wasting. And then again, when Brahma goes to sleep, the universe is partially destroyed. For a long time, we are in the body of Vishnu. And then again, we are born, and Brahma so when he sleeps, and that is why his sleep is also 4.3 billion years. And then again, when Brahma dies for hundreds of trillions of years, there is no creation. Again, the creation starts. And we look so funny that I was just trying to understand proper answers. Is how do we, that when we get a new body, we function. It's just like when you wake up from dream, we get up from sleep. Again, we are busy with our activities. So until your heart is pure, you will still keep doing those silly activities again and again, again and again. So it is very difficult for us to, one by one say, okay, I'm doing this activity, it's not good. Just turn your face away from all these activities towards Krishna's lotus feet and try to strike a relationship with Krishna. Go at his lotus feet, Krishna, Mam Niyungsha, give me some service. Kamadinam Katina Katita Palita Durnidesha. Krishna, enough of all this. Give me some service at your lotus feet. And that is what will save us. Keshava, you like to add something on this?
Nothing.
Okay. I don't know whether my earphone has become like that. I can hear him very faintly. Bhutagrama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratri agame vasha partha prabhavati ahar agame. Again and again the day comes and the host of the beings is active, and again the night falls apart and they are helplessly, just please note, helplessly dissolved. You can't do anything when pralaya starts. Yet there is another nature. Parastasmad bhavo anyo vyakta avyakta sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashasyu na vinashyati. Yet there is another nature which is eternal and transcendental to the manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Mrs. Manoj, you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and external. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and inhibited during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter.
Okay, this is understandable. Krishna is saying Parastasmad. After showing the miserable condition in this world, Krishna is inviting, my dear son, like his father is saying, why don't you come home? Parastasmad. I still remember one devotee so sweetly said, Bhagavad Gita, the love letter of Krishna. And Krishna is asking to all the devotees, all his children, please come back home. My dear son, come back. Why? This is the nature of this world. We're going to suffer so much. And beyond this world, Parastasmad, Vyakta, because something is manifested to you, something is not manifested. Like scientists are saying, something is dark matter, something is whatever you say, something is manifest, something is not manifest to you. Okay? You can't see everything in the universe. Yasa sarveshu bhuta nashyashyana vinashyati. It is supreme, it is never annihilated. When this world is annihilated, part remains as it is. Sanatana. Why? Because it is Sanatana. It's the word. It is eternal. Yeah, here I wanted to say something. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Prashant, you like to read? Let us see your mic is working.
The screen is blurred, Prabhu. I cannot see the screen.
Okay. Then who likes to read? Manoj.
Prabhuji, not able to see the screen.
Oh,
There is
really?
some. Yeah, now it's fine. Now, shall I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, read.
The supreme abode of personality of Godhead Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dhama, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavana, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees which are called desire trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand. And there are cows known as Surabhi cow which supply a limited supply of milk. In this
Limitless.
abode, the
Limitless.
Lord is
Limitless.
served by hundreds of thousands of goddess of fortune Lakshmis, and he is called Govinda, the primal Lord and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Kwanantam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the world. His eyes are like the lotus petals, and the color of his body is like clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and peacock feather on his hair. In the Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Goloka Vrindavana, which is the supreme planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Vedic literature states that there is nothing superior to the abode of Supreme Godhead, and that abode is the ultimate destination. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are not different, being of same quality. On this earth, Vrindavana, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is the replica of that supreme Goloka Vrindavana located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported on the particular tract of land known as Vrindavana in the district of Madura, India.
Yeah. This, who knows the shloka? Chintamani Prakasha. Who knows? Anirudh, do you know the shloka? Keshava knows.
Lakshavriteshu surabhirravipalayantam Lakshmi sahasrashata sambrama sevyamalam govindamam.
The next one, Venum.
Venum kwanantamaravindalayataaksham Barhavatam samasitam sundarangam
Kandarpa.
Kandarpa koti kamaniya shesha shobham govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Okay, so this is actually Prabhupada gives the translation of these two verses here. He says, he's attracting us. Because Prabhupada came to bring us back to the spiritual world. So he's advertising now. The place is, there are trees or desire trees, because first thing you're interested in eating, anything you want, you can get. Trees are there, you can ask. You want to eat samosa, he'll give samosa. You want to eat gulab jamun, you want to eat rasgulla. Everything is there, because he knows he's dealing with conditioned souls. So he's saying everything is available. Anything you want to eat, you can ask the trees, they'll give you. They're called Kalpa Vriksha. And they're cows, Surabhi cows, you can drink as much amount of milk you want. And there a Lord is served by hundreds, and it's not that the Krishna is looking for one servant. Lakhs of Lakshmis are serving him. And he is the cause of all causes. And then the next shloka talks about is Venum Kanantam. He's blowing this is now meditation on Krishna. First was his abode, now Krishna. He's blowing a flute, Venum Kanantam. There's so sweet that sound. and his form is so attractive. His eyes are like a lotus petal, okay, and body is like the cloud. He is so attractive that his beauty excels thousands of cupids. That is the beauty of Krishna. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around the neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. That is the meditation on Krishna. In the Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint, Prabhupada says. Okay? But in the Brahma Samhita, more details are given. Gita is like an office. Krishna is not revealing much about his abode, but he's inviting you, please come back home. Okay. So who is coming to Vrindavan? Again, we are going this year. Manoj, you're not coming. You will come only in December when it is ice cold. Prashant is coming. Kesha is coming. Vijay Mataji, you like to plan to join? You do not know your disposition at that time, no?
I will not be able to plan that far.
Correct, correct. You will come to know. Even you can come for 2-3 days, Mataji. It will be fun to take care of.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
God willing.
It is nice, Mataji. Going together, it is real fun. You know, recently one of our devotees had gone, Sujesh had gone. It was very difficult to know where to go, left, right. We go together, it is so nice. And you know, we have continuous kirtan every day. It's a great pleasure. Anyway, so Prabhupada is also inviting us to Vrindavan on earth. We go there, and it's actually a replica. It's just like when you see DT, you know, you can't understand. So similarly, you can't go to Vrindavan just by buying a train ticket or air ticket. No. You will go there, you will not understand anything. We have to go in a proper mood as servant of the Goswami, the servant of the Acharyas. Then when you go in a service attitude, the transcendental, just like you go to deities in a service attitude, you feel so much pleasure. When you chant Hare Krishna in a service attitude, you feel so much pleasure. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi, Nam Bhavet Grayam Indriye, Sevon Mukhe Jivado Swayamev Smrutiyada. When you take in a service attitude, these manifestations of the Lord will reveal their transcendental nature. Okay. So this something what I wanted to say here was, look at this line. This line is one of the lines repeated in Bhagavad Gita again. I'll show you. Tadhama paramam mama. Who knows this line where it is repeated? Huh?
15th chapter.
Yes. What is the shloka? Yes, yes. I have the bookmark ready. Yeah. Here it is. Natad bhashyate suryo. Yes, his memory, Kesha's memory it is there. Nashashanka napav. Yad gatvan anivartatadama. The abode of the mind is not illuminated by the sun or the moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches and never returns to the material world. There is no need of sun or moon there, because Prabhupada says everything is self-effulgent there. There is no need of sun or moon. Oh, yeah.
Prabhupada also quotes in one of the. I was listening to one class today. Prabhupada also quotes the same shloka.
The same.
While taking class on this shloka, he had quoted the same. That's why
same. He goes to that shloka.
Today. Yes. And he says, it is very nice actually. When he says this is a 1966 class, old class. Recent class. He says. He was explaining that the present Vrindavan in India is a replica of the spiritual world. Saying he starts saying that the place where I come from, Vrindavana, India. Even otherwise, he is coming from Vrindavan.
Yeshu Prabhu, can you increase your speaker volume?
I don't know how to do it for the.
Yeah, you go to that. You are in that, no, iPad.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, go to that. There will be something like will be there in that.
On the right side, there is a small button. You have to keep pressing it further on the top.
Now.
Little more.
Now is it better?
Yes, better than before.
This is the maximum.
Okay.
No. Kesha's voice used to be very loud. The Kesha, there is something called a sound on your settings. Just check there.
Yes, bro.
my input mic, you have to see whether it is put to the maximum input volume.
Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, done. This is very nice. So I think this shloka is done. We go to the next. The Supreme Personality Godhead is greater than all, is attained by unalloyed devotion. So yes, just before I go to the next shloka, I request everybody on behalf of Prabhupada, please accept Krishna's invitation. Krishna has, what more they can say? Krishna has personally invited, please come back home. Sometimes you get invitation for festivals like Janmashtami, inviting everybody. Just we should accept. Krishna is openly inviting. He is not telling don't come back. He's saying please come back. And Krishna will make all the arrangements, You don't know how to get the ticket because Krishna's abode is very far away. Don't worry, Krishna will arrange. In fact, even by the light years, materially, it will take millions of light years to reach Krishna's abode. But Krishna takes you there in a second, not even a second. Shuk, Krishna takes you. So invitation is there, invitation letter has already come. Bhagavad Gita is in Krishna's invitation, So we should accept the invitation. But what to do? We have better things to do. The famous joke when Indra was once the Anirudh. The story? Indra as a pig.
No.
Hey, Indra became pig. Brahma came, no? Okay. Indra became pig and Brahma came, and then what happened? That Brahma, he got some curse because of that. The Brahma came. Indra, please go back to your post because you are needed there. So Indra said, no, I'm sorry, I have so much responsibility here. I have so many piglets and so many. So we have so many other things to do in this world. We are still not ready. The Supreme Personality Godhead, who is greater than all, is attained by unalloyed devotion. Although He is present in His abode, He is all-pervading and everything is situated within Him. Who wants to read now? Vijay Mataji, you can read.
Yes. It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna, the Supreme Personality, the Supreme Person. The Brahma Samhita describes this supreme abode as the Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. Whatever variegatedness is manifested there is all of the quality of spiritual bliss. There is nothing material. All variegatedness is expanded as the spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead Himself, for the manifestation there is totally of the spiritual energy, as explained in chapter 7. As far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in His supreme abode, He is nonetheless all-pervading by His material energy. So by His spiritual and material energies, He is present everywhere, both in the material and in the spiritual universes. Yasyantasthani means that everything is sustained by Him, whether it be spiritual or material energy. It is clearly stated here that only by bhakti or devotional service can one enter into Vaikuntha, spiritual planetary system. In all the Vaikunthas, there is only one Supreme Godhead, Krishna, who has expanded Himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. These plenary expansions are four-armed and they preside over the innumerable spiritual planets. They are known by a variety of names: Purushottama, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Sridhara, Vasudeva, Damodara, Janardhana, Narayana, Vamana, Padmanabha. These plenary expansions are likened unto the leaves of a tree, and the main tree is likened to Krishna. Krishna, dwelling in Goloka Vrindavana, His supreme abode, systematically conducts all affairs of both universes, material and spiritual, without a flaw by power of His all-pervasiveness.
Krishna is a real hero. Now I was just thinking, if you just meditate on this, suppose in the city, okay? Say in your Chennai city, there is a beautiful house. Okay? In the Chennai city, there is tamasha going on. People are killing each other. There is tamasha. It's unlivable. And there is a beautiful house where none of the problems are there. It's very peaceful. There are no anxieties there. And the person there comes forward to invite you. Please come. No, really, aren't we fool if you don't go there? But suppose there is an important man in this world, we are really hesitant because does he want to relate to us? Correct? Suppose you go and meet some Obama, he may not be interested to have a relationship with you. Correct? That's our always worry. Even if you go, correct? You may take all the effort, but the person is not interested in you. But here Krishna is saying, I'm interested in you. Correct? He is personally inviting, please come. And therefore Prabhupada uses the words, all dull-headed, rascals, lowest of the, Prabhupada sometimes says, they will not listen, they will not accept Krishna's invitation. And he uses such strong words because he knows how much Krishna is inviting and how much they are ignoring Krishna's. Every day the letter comes from Krishna, please come back, please come back, please come back. And we keep ignoring, sometimes that happens. Somebody you call and he doesn't lift your call, missed call, you don't lift the call only. Every second he's calling, and there is a missed call. You don't want to lift it, Therefore, Prabhupada, seeing the love of Krishna and seeing your rotting, as if you are enjoying, seeing your rotting here, therefore Prabhupada uses the word, we can see transcendentally anger, he says dull-headed, rogues, thieves, he uses such strong words, and we can appreciate his words. Yes, somebody likes to add something on this? Okay, we proceed. O best of the Bharata, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world one does or does not come back. Who can read? Neela, you can read.
The unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord, who are totally surrendered souls, do not care when they leave their bodies or by what method. They leave everything in Krishna's hand and so easily and happily return to Godhead. But those who are not unalloyed devotees and who depend instead on such methods of spiritual realization as a Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, etc., must leave the body at a suitable time and thereby be assured whether or not they will return to the world of birth and death. If the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and place for leaving this material world. But if he is not so perfect, then he has to leave at a nature's will. The most suitable time to leave the body and not return is being explained by the Lord in this verse. According to Acharya Baldeva Vidyabhushan, the Sanskrit word kala used herein refers to the presiding deity of time.
Okay,
Can you explain that, Prabhu, please?
Which one? The first one, the last?
The last one.
Yeah, see, basically everything is personified actually. Just like river, we say Mother Ganges, correct? We say earth, Mother Earth. So there is presiding deity everywhere. There is some personality. Okay? So similarly, time also there is personification. Just like there is, everything is, there is a deity controlling that. Okay? You can take it as that way.
Okay.
So there is a personified. Keshava, you like to solve this riddle?
So it is like that.
Huh?
Like he is a president there. That deity is the president of that. He's presiding.
Or time. Time management is under this deity.
Yes,
Huh?
Yes, Prabhu. Kala.
Because Kala means the sun has to, earth, all they have to do their job on time, Earth can't slow down, it will make a mess. So there is a presiding deity of Kala. You have to become old and die. So the Kala is also kind of a force, which make things degrade, which make things go around. See, there is a universal arrangement of the Lord. Things are not going automatically or accidentally. There is elaborate arrangement. Kala is one of the person put in to see things are, some kind of, you have a timekeeper who sees things are happening in time. That is one part. And another part is that when you're leaving the body, it is being, there are so many influences. Just like when you're born, they have the horoscope they make based on your horoscope chart, based on the moment you're born. So when leaving the body also, there is some indications actually. Just like Prabhupada says, when Nehru left the body and seeing that calculation And Prabhupada says, his god brother Sridhar made a chart. He says he has become a dog. Huh? Yeah, a dog is kind of, just imagine. Actually, his life was also like there are so many photographs of his, womanizing, smoking, and all debauchery. Finally became a dog. Okay. Kala used to presiding deity of time, and so devotee anyway doesn't bother about all these things. Okay? Devotee just focus on Krishna's lotus feet. It doesn't bother about all these things. What time he's leaving. We had control of time. We remember Bhishma's life. He left the body at his will. The yogis also they try to extend their life. What I heard was that an amount of breathing you have that is fixed. So they slow down their breathing by tapasya, and they extend the life so that they can be ready to leave the body. But devotee doesn't, just like you always like exam to be postponed so you can be ready for the exam. But a devotee doesn't not bother about all the gymnastic. He just at Krishna's lotus feet, leaves it to Krishna. What you want, my Lord, I leave it to you. Therefore, Prabhupada, when he had a terrible health crisis in America, he told devotees to pray to Narasimha Deva, my Lord Narasimha, if you so desire, please let our master stay. He has not finished his work. So in that mode. Those who know the Supreme Brahman pass away from this world during the influence of the fiery god in the light at an auspicious moment during the fortnight of the moon and 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Yeah, somebody read this.
I can read.
Yeah.
When fire, light, day, and moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. At the time of the death, the jiva sets forth on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahmana Jyoti. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But if not, then there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or by an arrangement.
You see the famous photo is there where Krishna descends on Garuda and we are in an ocean, and Mrityu Samsara Sagara. Krishna comes and picks us up. The devotee is under personal attention of Krishna. So he doesn't bother about all this thing. He knows Krishna will protect me. Otherwise, all these gymnastics are there. The mystics who pass away from this world during the smoke, the night, the moon lit fortnight, or in 6 months when the sun passes to the south, or who reaches the moon planet, again come back. Yes. Somebody read this.
Shall I do?
Yeah.
In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are informed that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain to moon at death. These elevated souls live on the moon for around about 10,000 years by demigod calculations and enjoy life by drinking somarasa. They eventually return to earth. This means that on the moon there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses.
Now you can understand. Devata's bodies are subtle. Our bodies are gross with tubes and all this funny organs. Devata's bodies are subtle. Therefore, they live for a long time. They have fantastic lives. Devatas may appear and disappear. They can do so many things. The Prabhupada says, they say we went to moon, didn't see anybody. But they're talking about, moon, the moon planet. The Prabhupada said, yes, it is there, but we could not see them. Okay. According to the Veda, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in the light, one in the darkness. When one passes in the light, it does not come back. When it passes in the darkness, it returns. Yes, Keshava, continue.
The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baladeva Vidya Bhushana from the Chandogya Upanishad. In such a way, Those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna.
Okay, funny, Prabhupada says constantly going and coming, no work, constantly going and coming. Just like you see dogs, running here, there, no meaning. And they not surrender to Krishna, so they don't achieve the ultimate destination. So just 2 shlokas, we finish it. The devotees who know these paths of Arjuna are never bewildered, therefore be always fixed in devotion. Keshava, continue.
Krishna is here advising Arjuna that he should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when leaving the material world. A devotee of the Supreme Lord should not worry whether he will depart either by arrangement or by accident. The devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know that concern over either of these 2 paths is troublesome. The best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always dovetailed in his service, and this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. The word Yoga Yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Sri Rupa Goswami advises that one should be unattached in the material world and that all affairs should be steeped in Krishna consciousness. In this way, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the Supreme Abode is guaranteed by devotional service.
Actually, when I read this previous shloka, I was trying to calculate, which is this fortnight of the moon. I thought that the fortnight of the moon means the rising of the moon, Keshava?
Yes, Shukla Paksha, yes, Prabhu.
Thinking all calculation, then you're seeing the chart. No, not doctor. They sometimes put doctor, put me on ventilator so I can come to auspicious time. One in light, one in darkness. So many funny things are there. So Prabhupada says, no, it's troublesome. Concern for either of the 2 passes, devotee for devotional platform, he should not get worried about all that. It will be troublesome. Okay? Just sit and chant Hare Krishna. Okay? Yoga Yukta, the word is there, being engaged in devotion service to the Lord. And there is advice from Rupa Goswami, who is a great Sampradaya Acharya. He says that one should be unattached in the material world. Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manchari, one of the intimate associates of Radharani. So his advice is very important. He says one should be unattached in the material world and all affairs should be steeped in Krishna consciousness. He knows passage should be guaranteed by devotion service. Only by devotion service my passage ticket to spiritual world will come. Once somebody said Prabhupada, he was chanting. So Prabhupada told the devotee, inside your bag is your ticket to spiritual world. Something like that, you remember, Keshava?
No, Prabhu.
These beads are your ticket to the spiritual world. Something like that. So, there's a last, Vijaya Mataji, you can read the purport. Also accept the path of devotion service not bereft of result derived from studying the Vedas. So if you take to Krishna consciousness, don't have to do the mystic yogas to pass body at the right time. He is not bereft of result derived from studying the Veda, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode.
This verse is the summation of the 7th and the 8th chapters, particularly as the chapters deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One is to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order, and if the master neglects to call the student for food that day, the student fasts. These are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya. After the student studies the Vedas under the master for a period from 5 to 20 years, he may become a man of perfect character. Study of the Vedas is not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. After this training, the brahmachari is allowed to enter into household life and marry. When he is a householder, he also has to perform many sacrifices and strive for further enlightenment. Then, after retiring from household life, upon accepting the order of Vanaprastha, he undergoes severe penances, such as living in forests, dressing with tree bark, not shaving, etc. By carrying out the orders of brahmachari, householder, vanaprastha, and finally sannyasa, one becomes elevated to the perfectional stage of life. Some are then elevated to the heavenly kingdoms, and when they become even more advanced, they are liberated in the spiritual sky, either in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti or in the Vaikuntha planets or Krishna Loka. This is the path outlined by Vedic literatures. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all rituals at the different orders of life. One should try to understand the 7th and the 8th chapters of the Gita not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with pure devotees. Chapters 6 through 12 are the essence of the Gita. If one is fortunate to understand the Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. One should hear the Gita from the devotee because at the beginning of the 4th chapter it is stated that the Gita can only be perfectly understood by devotees. Hearing the Gita from devotees, not from mental speculators, is called faith. Through association of devotees, one is placed in devotional service, and by this service, Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, etc. become clear, and all misgivings are dispelled. Then, once doubts are removed, the study of the Gita becomes extremely pleasurable, and one develops a taste and feeling for Krishna consciousness. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna, and that is the beginning of the highest perfectional stage of life, which prepares the devotee's transferal to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Goloka Vrindavana, where the devotee enters into eternal happiness. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme.
Yes, Keshav, would like to say something on the shloka?
The last portion, Yogi Param Sthanam Upayati Chatyam.
Yes.
Krishna says all the activities like studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, and fruitive activities, and philosophical pursuance, all this is negated. Like in Prabhupada also, Prabhupada says, like it is achieved. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all rituals of different orders of life. All this is achieved directly by a Krishna conscious devotee who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. Correct, bro?
Yeah. No, just like this now, we spent 1.5 hours. Say, somebody would have said at this time I could have done some, studies maybe. I would have got more marks. Somebody would have said I could have done some business, made more money. But don't worry, every result, everything will be given. Correct? The shloka says that. Whatever you would have done, maybe some fruitive activity you could have done now, don't worry, the fruit Krishna will give you. You could have become more knowledgeable, you could have read some more news, know some more nonsense in the world. Don't worry, Krishna will give you that also. Maybe you could have some charity, you would have become famous in this world as a great charity. Don't worry, Krishna will make you famous. You want to perform some austere sacrifices, it will be called a great tapasvi. Everything will be given if you just, a person who takes devotional service is not better because we are not doing all those activities. Sometimes they look attract. Don't worry. Any result person can get from anything else in this world will be given to you. Just you hear Bhagavad Gita with faith. Correct? That's what Prabhupada says at the end. It says about reading Bhagavad Gita, how you advance. And a good chapter 6 to 12 are essence of the Gita. We finished now 6. We finished 7. We are in the 8. 3 over. 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 6 more, 7, 8 is over.
Prabhu, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
In the 24th shloka, we are writing that if one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Some years ago, we had read that Dhirubhai Ambani was artificially kept alive, and then they allowed his death to happen at a very auspicious moment. So, do you think that if a person by arrangement leaves his body at a particular time like this, then he will attain Krishna Loka?
No, even the birth they're doing like that. No, they pull out the child from the womb at auspicious time. Manjula Mataji says they have a horoscope and they tell he should be born at this time, and they pull out the child from the womb at that auspicious time. You know that? Even birth people do like that. So what to do with this adjustments? Yeah,
How do you explain this?
See, first part is this, that even if you cannot force like this, whole life full of sinful activities, and by some arrangement, you leave the body at an auspicious time. Yamadutas know their job. Accident or by arrangement. So you are saying here by arrangement. Mataji, when you go to meet Bhanu Maharaj, get us the answer for this.
Okay.
He is a scholar. He will tell you how to handle this life.
Fine.
As far as we can understand here, that even if you go Brahma Jyoti, again you're going to fall down. Okay? Brahma Jyoti is not permanent. See, unless you become a pure devotee, you cannot enter the spiritual world. No gymnastic will help. But when Krishna kills a demon, he also gets Brahma Jyoti. So Brahma Jyoti is not a big deal. You understand? But entering to Krishna's planet you cannot do unless you have cultivated, a stricken relationship with Krishna. You cannot enter Krishna's planet. You have to strike relationship. He is a great personality, very merciful personality, inviting you, go forward, develop a relationship with him, and you are a servant, develop a service attitude, proper, and lovingly reciprocate. Krishna will lovingly reciprocate, and you go back to his abode. But there is no, you can say, I will not do all these things, and I like Ambani, I'll get some people to, keep me alive by, artificial respiration. And Keshava, how do you beat this argument?
Horoscope is usually understood to be a cause of a person's happiness or distress.
Okay.
Actually, a horoscope is not the cause; it is the effect. Because of his past karmas, he has got such an horoscope. It is not because of his bad horoscope he is in distress, but he is in distress. It is just showing. That's all. It's only showing the bad time. It is not the cause. It is the effect. Horoscope is the effect. Any bad time is the effect of his karma. The same way, death also, the time of death also. If he is destined to die at a particular moment, it is because of his past karmas and his deeds in that life. It can be only artificially. You can't fool God like that.
No, suppose I decide I want to, Vaikuntha very difficult, I am not a pure devotee. So I make some arrangement like this and pay people to keep, so that they give me a lethal injection at that particular moment when it's auspicious, and I leave the body and I'll go to Brahma Jyoti.
That will become Atmahatya.
I'll become a ghost, huh? Brahma Rakshas. I'm not a Brahmana anyway. Chalo, this is interesting, Mataji. So some input Keshava has given. To the degree we know is that it's not so easy to extend or the pull at that moment. I think is that was also within his, just like you have some problem and you go to a doctor. The doctor was also within your, karma. You'll have a doctor which will, sometimes you get a pain. You say that I don't go to a doctor because that's my karma, let me suffer through it. But actually a doctor also within the whole plan, a doctor will be available which he can give you medicine. So similarly, maybe the arrangement was available. It was all within his karma to have that person and to leave at anyway he was going to leave at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Maybe. Because actually it's very mystical. It's not so much control of the doctors as they're saying, because the heart stops beating and nobody understands. They say there is the involuntarily muscle. They just give a term, involuntarily muscle, which gives the signal to heart to keep beating. Suddenly it stops giving any signal. So nobody knows when it stops. It can happen just like our neighbor. Till yesterday he was walking around. Today there is a big band. He was a Christian, big band, was playing whole day, band is going on. Suddenly. We were just seeing him sitting peacefully outside his house and just gone. So suddenly it stops. I don't think it is so much in control, but we can maybe make more study on this and what happened to money. And we can ask some scholar devotee who has studied more, can give you some more inputs.
Even death is it is a cause and effect is confused. No? Because the soul is going out of the body, that happens. It is an effect, not the cause. Not that because he's dead, soul is going. Because the soul is going, he's dead.
Yes. And I'm learning. Soul is, yeah. Many times what happens, people think because there is a heart failure and therefore the soul leaves. But actually it's the reverse, because the soul leaves heart. Because when the soul leaves the body collapses. As a real active living principle in the body is the soul. Rest things are just going because the soul is there. Just like dead child does not move, nothing happens. All organs are inside his body. Nothing is happening.
But
still this.
Isn't it also said that the soul leaves the body when it is unfit? The body is unfit. The soul leaves it.
No, soul leaves it when it finds, and then it collapses. You get connected. Then it collapses.
So
just like you move out of the house, then the house collapses. Your house was becoming unpleasant. So you decided till the time it was still, somehow patch up going on. The moment you left the house, the whole house starts rotting then. The body starts rotting, stinking. Think about it. Who was speaking now? He was Anirudh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anirudh. Yeah,
yes.
Anirudh. Anything, any analysis now from your side?
No.
Okay, we continue next time then. Okay, we finish this chapter by Krishna's grace. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks Anirudh for joining. Yes, Preeti's mother, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Manoj and his Mrs. Manoj, thanks for joining us. Hare Krishna. Neela, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prashant. Good. Hare Krishna. Yes, Vijay Mataji. Today made you late, 15 more minutes we stretched you.
No, I still have something. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.